Stephanie Rouse, mother of a 4-year-old girl, shares her story of just how quickly a pool party can go wrong. Her daughter JC died due to drowning because she was unable to swim. Teaching children to swim would greatly reduce the number of children that died due to drowning and would save a lot of families the heartbreak of losing a child so early. Today we will discuss how to reduce these tragedies. First, we will talk about the problem, which is that a lot of children are unable to swim. Then we will talk about the risk that this causes, and finally, we will discuss how this problem can be eliminated. Now let's get started on talking about the problem. Now this problem is that today a lot of children are unable to swim, meaning that in a life-threatening situation, they would not be able to save themselves from drowning. The Amateur Swim Association actually shows that 1 in 3 children now leave primary school unable to swim. They also share that 40% of those children who cannot swim haven't even been offered an opportunity to learn how to swim. This just sort of goes to show that children are at a major risk because they are not being offered a way to be taught how to swim. And result of this, young children are being failed and put at risk because they cannot save themselves in life-threatening situations. Now let's just sort of talk about the risk that this creates. Because schools don't implement swimming into primary education and primary schools, children become greatly at risk of drowning and possibly dying at a very young age. The CDC, or Centers for Disease Control, reported that from 2005 to 2014 that there was an average of 3,536 fatal unintentional drownings annually in the United States. This adds up to about 10 deaths per day. Also, about 1 in 5 children who die due to drowning are children that are 14 years and younger. For every child who dies due to drowning, there's another 5 who have to receive emergency department care for non-fatal submersion injuries. Now, this seems like a lot of unnecessary deaths, doesn't it? But there is a way that we can reduce these numbers. So a way we can reduce these numbers of the children who die due to drowning and the inability to swim is to start teaching swim lessons in school, specifically elementary schools. This would be a great place to teach swim lessons because 14 and under is one of the most at-risk age groups from drowning, as I said before. An academic journal from Health Psychology published July 2014 conducted a survey at the University of Guelph, and they concluded that as children accumulated experience in swim lessons, parents judged that there were improvements in their swim abilities. This just sort of proves that swim lessons would help children develop these life-saving skills. The same journal also says that it seems imperative that Learn to Swim programs consider expanding their aim to foster adequate supervision by caregivers until the child has the necessary skills to prevent drowning. This sort of proves that an elementary school would be the most beneficial place to teach these lessons because there are plenty of adults and caregivers who can supervise the development of these skills. Now, some may argue that many schools don't have pools or don't have the funds to build pool facilities, but this can be solved by renting out facilities nearby. Schools could even rent pools monthly in order to effectively teach the students how to swim without having to spend a lot of money. In doing this, schools could greatly reduce the number of children deaths by drowning. Just to sum everything up, we first discussed the problem, which is the lack of resources that are providing children with swim lessons. And then we talked about the risk that this causes. And finally, we discussed a way to solve this problem by implementing swim lessons into elementary schools. Now, this may be hard to do because of the lack of funding, but we can all donate to facilities that teach swim lessons, or we can even volunteer ourselves to help these children. By teaching the generations to come how to swim, we can help reduce those who met a tragic end due to the inability to swim and ensure that no mother or no father has to go through what Stephanie Rouse and her family experienced. Thank you.